Today I'm going to read the entire Immaculate Constellation PDF that was posted by Representative Nancy Mace on her .gov page. This document was referenced during the second Congressional UAP hearing on November 13, 2024. The reading also includes the cover letter prepared by UAP investigator and journalist Jeremy Corbell. Hello everyone and welcome to UAP as NHI. Today's episode will be a video and audio transcript of the Immaculate Constellation PDF since no reading of it is yet available, at least none that I could find. I'm also including Jeremy Corbell's cover page since he was the person who provided the summary to Representative Mace and should have received due credit. It's important to note that this is not an official government document, and the information provided therein is not corroborated by any official source. This is a prepared interpretation strictly based on whistleblower testimony that also has yet to be vetted or corroborated. Be sure to refer to the show notes on the Somewhere in the Skies podcast from November 18, 2024 for a summarized version of the document following this reading. It provides a comprehensive breakdown that might help you better digest it. Although this episode was supposed to be the one on my special method of truth-seeking, I have yet to finish preparing it. As a FedEx courier, I am required to work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, through the holiday season with little free time to finish producing an episode. The special episode will definitely appear sometime next month. Page 1 of the document is the cover letter prepared by Jeremy Corbell. It was excluded from the hearing even though he handed it to Representative Mace prior to the proceeding. I'm not going to go into any of the controversy regarding how everything played out, as that is not the intent of this reading. So, without further ado. Cover letter. Title: Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon, Truth, Lies, and Strategic Surprise. 13 November 2024. My name is Jeremy Corbell, and I am an American investigative journalist. My mentor in journalism is George Knapp. The following document is submitted on behalf of a courageous government whistleblower who has presented evidence on the UAP issue to the appropriate committees of the United States Congress. This report includes highly credible information, not only confirming the existence of unidentified anomalous phenomena, but also exposing a decades-long conspiracy to deceive the American people and their elected representatives from uncovering the truth about the durational UAP presence on planet Earth and its potential origin. Naturally, one might ask, why not step forward directly? Why does the author remain unseen before the American public? The answer to this is nearly as unsettling as the revelations asserted within this report. In today's America, speaking truth has become a perilous endeavor. Citizens and journalists now face the grim reality of potentially lethal retaliation from rogue government factions. Whistleblowers and the journalists who support them are no longer assured freedom, safety, or prosperity in the United States of America. This fact should disturb every American at their core. We are witnessing the erosion of free expression under the guise of national security, a slippery descent into authoritarian censorship. Yet the spirit of freedom remains. Brave individuals have defied intimidation and oppression to bring these truths to light. This document is merely one piece in a larger body of evidence, a rising tide of undeniable truth that cannot and will not be silenced. I have personally gone to objectively extreme measures to ensure this. My hope is that by sharing this document, Americans will feel inspired to reclaim not only just their government, but the very fabric of their reality. Reality itself has been manipulated by a privileged few who, blinded by fear and greed, have disregarded the suffering of millions. What unfolds from here will shape not only the future of the United States, but that of humanity on planet Earth. I have a lot more to say on the matter. However, I request to do so under oath when I am formally invited by Congress in a hearing open to the American public. With hope and commitment, Jeremy Corbell, American investigative journalist, co-host, weaponizedpodcast.com. Introduction. This document is the result of a multi-year internal investigation into the subject of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, technologies of unknown origin, TUO, and non-human intelligence, NHI. This investigation was undertaken in response to urgent and credible threats to the public good and safety of the United States of America, and provided to Congress through the UAP whistleblower mechanisms established by the FY23 National Defense Authorization Act and the FY23 National Intelligence Authorization Act. The data consulted during this investigation and summarized in this report originate from non-public data held within the executive branch of the United States government, USG. The author obtained access to this information while pursuing their lawful duties as an employee of the Department of Defense. This public version of the author's report was reviewed and approved for public release by the Department of State, Bureau of Global Public Affairs. The results of this investigation are deeply disturbing. Elements of the U.S. executive branch have conspired to prevent the U.S. legislative branch from exercising its lawful powers of governance with respect to the UAP, TUO, and NHI issues. The information provided by the author strongly suggests that the U.S. executive branch has been managing UAP, NHI issues without congressional knowledge, oversight, or authorization for some time, quite possibly decades. This criminal conspiracy keeps the elected government of the United States and its citizens ignorant to profound discoveries and dire threats originating from the existence of UAP, NHI, and their technologies. Unambiguous evidence demonstrating the reality of UAP, NHI, and TUO has been made available to Congress by multiple independent UAP whistleblowers. This document is but one item of evidence brought to Congress. Much more exists and hopefully will be made available. In this public version of the report, information is organized into 7 categories of evidence, including an unacknowledged special access program, USAP, imagery intelligence, IMINT, human intelligence, HUMINT, signals intelligence, SIGINT, USG bureaucratic records, USG historical records, and other sensitive sources. All information in this report is derived from access to non-public information. Section 1. Unacknowledged Special Access Program, Immaculate Constellation. Immaculate Constellation, IC, is an unacknowledged special access program established following the public disclosure of the ATIP OSAP programs by Luis Elizondo in 2017. Upon disclosure to Congress, it was determined that this USAP and its collateral information have not been lawfully reported to Congress. IC's primary mission is collecting imagery intelligence on unidentified aerial phenomena and reproduction vehicles utilizing tasked and untasked U.S. military intelligence resources. As part of a network of special access programs, SAPs, linked to NHI and UAP technology, IC acts as a nexus for collecting, analyzing, and disseminating intelligence on the activities, capabilities, and locations of anomalous aerospace threats that originate from foreign or unidentified sources. The intelligence within the IC program primarily consists of high-quality imagery intelligence and collateral measurement and signatures intelligence, MACENT, of UAP and reproduction vehicles within Earth's atmosphere. The collection platforms involved are a blend of tasked and untasked capabilities in low Earth orbit, the upper atmosphere, military and civilian aviation altitudes, and maritime environments. IC pays particular attention to anomalous aerospace platforms that have been deployed through the study or acquisition of technologies of unknown origin by foreign nations or unknown entities. UAP and reproduction vehicle signatures and preferred operating areas are known to the program, enabling a degree of strategic awareness and warning. Finally, IC shows that reproduction vehicles are operating around the globe, often in close proximity to sensitive foreign assets and locations. The categorization of Immaculate Constellation as a parent USAP with various child SAPs under its umbrella indicate a high level of compartmentalization and secrecy. In effect, IC serves as a central or parent USAP that consolidates observations of UAP and ARV activities detected by tasked and untasked collection platforms. Sophisticated internal information security controls are a major part of the IC program, which enforces compartmentalization by detecting, quarantining, and transferring UAP and RV imagery collection incidents before they are circulated within the military intelligence enterprise. In conclusion, IC shows that the United States government is not only aware of UAP and TUO, but also foreign state efforts to replicate UAP and TUO capabilities. The data within IC reveals the capacity of the U.S. Armed Services and military intelligence community to detect, track, identify, and engage anomalous transmedium platforms. IC also demonstrates the extant capability to detect, quarantine, and transfer UAP and RV collection incidents before they are observed and circulated within the military intelligence enterprise, partially explaining why many otherwise cleared members of the military and intelligence community are unaware of UAP activities. Finally, the existence of IC provides verifiable evidence of the witting participation by elements of the U.S. Armed Services, Defense Civil Service, and the intelligence community in a global surveillance and reconnaissance mission tasked with monitoring UAP and reproduction vehicles. Section 2. USG Imagery Intelligence. The United States government maintains imagery intelligence databases accessible to personnel with appropriate security clearances and mission need. These databases are scattered across various organizations and services, leading to a fragmented ownership structure. This dispersion complicates the timely and comprehensive gathering of IMINT related to UAP. Control over access to these data sets primarily reside within the military intelligence enterprise, the combatant commands, the armed services, and individual program managers. The IMINT collected from data sets available to the DoD and reviewed for this report provide compelling evidence for UAP which defy prosaic explanations. There is a large number of unique imagery sensors available to the U.S. military and intelligence community, including infrared, forward-looking infrared, FLIR, full motion video, thermal, and still photography. The multitude of wavelengths collected by these sensors have captured UAP characteristics that are difficult or impossible to observe with the human eye alone. Subtle atmospheric effects associated with UAP are visible through the sensors employed by the U.S. military and intelligence agencies, enabling unique analytic techniques. The verifiable chain of custody for UAP IMINT collected by U.S. military assets ensures a high level of confidence in the accuracy and integrity of the data gathered. The following examples are presented. CENTCOM cuboid formation of metallic orbs. On USG networks, there exists daytime full-motion video and daytime FLIR footage of a formation of 12 metallic orbs skimming the ocean's surface at high speed before dispersing in multiple directions. The rapid and agile maneuvering of the metallic orbs were incompatible with known aerospace vehicles and were between 3 and 6 meters in diameter. In the opening segment of this footage, the 12 metallic orbs flew in a tight cuboid formation. The metallic orbs were in 3 vertical square formations of 4 orbs each, arranged in a 3-pronged configuration, creating the illusion of a cube shape at a distance. All the orbs were white-hot against the black-cold ocean in the FLIR footage, and each sphere created a faint atmospheric distortion both around itself and as a heat shimmer contrail. The metallic orbs moved in this cube formation over the ocean for some time, before rapidly breaking formation as pairs. The sensor platform lost track of most of the metallic orbs as they ascended in altitude and accelerated in speed, but maintained observation on a pair of metallic orbs, continuing the original trajectory of the larger formation. CENTCOM Fast Mover observed transiting over sensitive facilities. On USG networks, there exists FLIR footage of a small to medium oval UAP flying at high speed and low to the surface. The footage begins as routine surveillance of a sensitive coastal facility when the oval UAP rapidly comes into frame as it flies above coastal facilities. The oval UAP then makes a rapid turn towards the ocean where it is tracked by the collection platform. The oval UAP is tracked flying low over the open ocean at high speed before the track is lost. United States Indo-Pacific Command, U.S. Indo-PACOM. Intelligence vessels positioned to collect on reproduction vehicle. On USG networks, there exists infrared footage of and imagery of a grouping of vessels engaged in SIGINT and MACENT collection at night in a specific area of the Pacific Ocean. In this footage, which was in close proximity to the vessels, a large equilateral triangle UAP suddenly appears directly over the ships. 3 bright points are seen at each bottom corner of the UAP, which is observed to slowly rotate on its horizontal axis. This rotation partially reveals a horizontal bar of sweeping lights. Intelligence analysis associated with this event specifies that the equilateral triangle is a reproduction vehicle and concludes that the vessels must have been aware of the RV's frequent use of those coordinates due to foreign prepositioning of advanced collection assets at the exact time and place. After a brief period of hovering and slowly rotating approximately 500 to 1,000 meters above the ocean, the RV suddenly disappears and the footage ends. U.S. Indo-PACOM, Equilateral Triangle UAP tails unwitting vessel. On USG networks, there exists infrared footage of an equilateral triangle UAP, approximately fighter jet sized, hovering less than 200 meters above a vessel, in the night at a location in the Pacific. Intelligence analysis associated with this event specifies that the equilateral triangle is a reproduction vehicle of unknown origin. The vessel gives no signs that it is aware of the RV maintaining altitude and bearing directly overhead. 2 lights on the underside of the RV are visible, while a third is blocked from view due to a slightly upward angle of orientation. U.S. Indo-PACOM. Large disk using clouds as concealment. On USG networks, there exists OPIR footage of a large saucer-shaped UAP emerging from within a dense cloud formation. The saucer registered black hot against white cold, with atmospheric disturbances caused by the saucer-shaped UAP visible. The saucer was between 200 and 400 meters in circumference and displayed symmetrical concavities on the upper surface. The saucer-shaped UAP emerges as a shallow angle traveling upwards towards the outer atmosphere. After breaking above the cloud cover, the saucer-shaped UAP suddenly reverses its direction, descending partially back into the cloud cover, then accelerating rapidly out of frame and partially obscured by the cloud tops. This behavior was evasive in nature and implied that the saucer-shaped UAP had become aware that it was under observation by a space-based collection platform. U.S. Indo-PACOM. Boomerang UAP observed by pilot and sensor suite. On USG networks, there exists FLIR footage of a swept boomerang UAP maneuvering at an uncertain altitude at a location off the eastern coast of a country. The UAP is tracked against clouds by the sensor suite of the operating craft. The UAP is observed rapidly decelerating to a stationary hover, followed by the sudden emission of a sphere of light from the junction of the two wings, which expands to partially engulf the craft in a rotating sphere of light, at which point the available footage ends. United States Northern Command, NORTHCOM. Jellyfish UAP crosses U.S.-Mexico border. On USG networks, there exists FLIR footage of an irregularly shaped UAP flying across the southern border. The UAP appeared in FLIR to be modeled irregularly with hot-cold emissions and approximated a jellyfish or floating brain with hanging appendages in appearance. The UAP flew against the wind with no visible means of propulsion, maintained an unnatural rigidity in its movements and flight path, and maintained a comparatively low altitude to geographic features. In appearance and behavior, footage of this UAP violating the airspace of the southern border resembled the same class of UAP observed near DoD facilities in Iraq and Afghanistan. There exists at least one compilation video of this class of UAP, sourced from DoD Force Protection Assets and Theater ISR, which uses this footage as a point of comparison. NORTHCOM. Supersonic Range-Fowler intercepts USN fighter. On USG networks, there exists FLIR footage and radar data of a supersonic UAP of uncertain characteristics conducting a head-on intercept of a USN fighter operating off the eastern seaboard. The UAP is observed emerging from a cloud bank at high speed and approaching the USN aircraft head-on, rapidly passing over the left side of the cockpit. Radar data from this approach tracks the UAP on its approach towards the craft, providing information on speed, heading, and elevation. United States Southern Command, SOUTHCOM. Tic-tac detected by space asset in proximity of vessel. On USG networks, there exists overhead persistent infrared, OPIR, imagery, and MACENT of a Tic-Tac UAP transiting through an area of the Atlantic Ocean. The Tic-Tac maneuvers at an altitude at or near local cloud cover, and correlated electromagnetic signatures were collected by MACENT. In the available footage, the Tic-Tac UAP transits rapidly through the field of regard as it transits the ocean. No observed reaction is seen to come from the vessel, but its proximity in time and space to the trajectory of this UAP suggests foreknowledge of the UAP event by intelligence. Section 3. Defense Human Intelligence Reporting. The USG maintains a database of intelligence collected by military personnel across a plethora of topics, including UAP. These individual reports are considered raw because they have not undergone evaluation, corroboration, or contextualization into a finished analytical product by military intelligence community analysts. A significant volume of reports documenting first-hand encounters with UAP or UFOs by DoD personnel exists within defense human databases. Many of these UAP reports are filed by military aviators and pilots, as well as service members trained in foreign military intelligence collection activities, and often include photographic evidence and sensor data. When aggregated, these reports reveal significant information on UAP. This section is directly informed by reviewing over 400 defense HUMINT reports on encounters with UAP, UFOs by USG personnel spanning from 1991 to 2022. The Defense HUMINT dataset summarized here highlights notable trends in the reporting stream and are presented here along with specific examples. Common UAP/UFO shapes observed in Defense HUMINT dataset. From 1991 to 2022, the most common UAP shapes reported in this USG dataset were spheres, orbs, disks, saucers, ovals, tic-tacs, triangles, boomerang, arrowhead, and irregular organic. The triangles, boomerangs, arrowhead shapes were by far the rarest, and spheres the most common. Variations of morphology within these categories are present, i.e. smooth spheres and spheres with protuberances, saucers without domes and saucers with domes, smooth ovals and ovals with surface structures, jellyfish or floating brains with appendages, and elongated triangles as well as equilateral triangles. Sphere or orb. Spheres were the most reported shape, with variations ranging from smooth featureless orbs to spheres with visible openings or appendages. These objects' prevalence suggests a possible standard in UAP design or function, capable of high maneuverability and speed. The diversity within the sphere category, spanning from simple, polished appearances to more complex structures with appendages, suggests a broad range of purposes or technologies unique to the platform's mission and or the originator. Disc or saucer. Saucer-shaped UAP, reported with or without domes, were the second most common shape reported. Flat saucers were reported as well, these being disc-like objects without pronounced domes. Traditional biconvex UAP are also reported in the data. Oval or tic-tac. Oval-shaped UAP were infrequently reported within the dataset, and only after approximately 2003. These UAP either maintained a uniform egg-like symmetry, occasionally tapered into a teardrop shape. Cylinders with convex ends, tic-tacs, fall into this category, and occasionally featured visible protuberances on the top or bottom of the otherwise uniform platform. Triangle. Triangles were among the rarest UAP reported in the data. Most of these sightings were equilateral triangles, occasionally with vertical stabilizers visible on the top of the UAP. Elongated isosceles types were also reported, occasionally with the same vertical stabilizers observed on the equilateral type. Boomerang or arrowhead. Boomerangs and arrowhead-shaped UAP were also among the rarest reported. The boomerang UAP exhibited bilateral symmetry with sweeping wings and a high aspect ratio. Arrowhead UAP also showed bilateral symmetry, but possessed tapered wings and a low aspect ratio, typically with highly swept leading edges. Irregular or organic. Irregularly shaped UAP, those that defy simple geometric description, were among the rarest reported sightings. Shape-shifting UAP also appear in the dataset, typically having a spherical or disc-like base form from which irregular geometries are seen to project. Floating brain or jellyfish UAP are present as well, characterized by a central mass from which multiple arms or spars hang downward. Finally, combined shapes were also observed, including cubes within spheres, ringed saucers, and various rectangular and cuboid forms. Common observable behaviors and characteristics of UAP-UFO shapes observed in Defense HUMINT dataset. Table 1. Sphere, orb. Size. Sizes range from small objects to those several meters in diameter. Speed. Capable of stationary hovering to rapid acceleration. Speeds surpassing conventional aircraft have been noted. Signatures. Often lack conventional signatures such as heat trails, electromagnetic effects on military electronics reported. Colors. Varied, with gray metallic, grayish blue, white yellow, and red red being prevalent. Surface details. Ranges from completely smooth and reflective to having visible protuberances, appendages, concavities, and openings. Behaviors. High maneuverability, including abrupt direction changes and the ability to hover, often observed to fly in complex geometrical formations and to operate in tandem. Atmospheric phenomena. Occasional disturbances in cloud formations and heat wave contrails have been reported. Biological effects. Close observers reported feelings of unease and of electronic device malfunctions. Table 2. Disk, saucer. Observable details. Size. Generally range from a few meters to over 20 meters in diameter. Speed. Exhibits capabilities for both hovering and high-speed flight, often making sudden sprints. Signatures. Radar detection varies, visual sightings more common. Some reports include a humming sound. Colors. Metallic silver or gray is common, though some have been reported as emitting light or changing color. Surface details. Variations include smooth, featureless surfaces to those with visible domes or segmented panels. Behaviors. Sudden vertical ascents, hovering, and silent operation. Some reports indicate the ability to become invisible or blend into the sky. Unique emissions. Instances of electromagnetic interference in nearby devices and vehicles. Atmospheric phenomena. Visual disturbances such as shimmering air or sudden fog formation. Table 3. Oval, tic-tac observable details. Size. Lengths typically from 6 to 40 meters, maintaining proportional width and height. Speed. High-speed travel and instant acceleration have been frequently reported with no sonic boom. Visual identification often notes a lack of contrail, white or silver. Surface details. Uniformly smooth surface with occasional reports of protuberances that could be sensors, propulsion elements, weapons, or unknown technology. Behaviors. Observed ability to hover and then accelerate suddenly. Some encounters describe them maintaining stable positions despite high winds. Table 4. Triangular. Observable details. Medium to large size ranging from F-16 to football field size. Speed. Capable of slow, precise movement as well as rapid acceleration to speeds beyond conventional aircraft. Signatures. Often reported to emit a soft humming sound, may affect electronic devices within a certain proximity. Colors. Black or dark gray, sometimes with white lights at the corners and a central red light. Reports of twinkling stars across surface. Observable. Observable details. Some have been described with visible surface textures like panels or ridges, and occasionally stabilizers. Behaviors. Hovering is common, as is silent flight. The ability to suddenly vanish or accelerate rapidly is frequently reported. Unique emissions. Triangular UAP often emit focused beams of light. Toroidal light patterns are sometimes observed to emanate from a central point, leading to rapid acceleration or disappearance. Biological effects. Long-term psychological effects such as anxiety or insomnia have been noted, alongside the feeling of being watched or shared awareness with the triangle UAP. Table 5. Boomerang arrowhead. Observable details. Size. Wingspans can exceed 30 meters, especially for boomerang-shaped UAP. Arrowheads typically range from F-16 size to slightly larger. Exhibits both gliding at low speeds and the capacity for high-speed flight. Visual sightings often note a slow, silent flight profile. Colors. typically dark, blending with the night sky, though some reports include glowing edges or tips. Surface details. Smooth surfaces with a notable aerodynamic design. The arrowhead types show more angular features. Known for silent operation and the ability to execute tight turns. Unique emissions. Seen to emit a spherical ball of light from the center line, which partially envelops the UAP during maneuvers, causing electromagnetic interference with local technologies. Table 6. Irregular, organic. Observable details. Size. Highly variable, from small, compact forms to larger, more sprawling structures. Speed. Movements range from slow drifting to rapid acceleration, often unpredictable. Signatures. Some reports include unusual sounds or the absence of expected aerodynamic noise. Electromagnetic effects are common. Colors. Often described with bioluminescent qualities or shifting colors, particularly for floating brain or jellyfish types. Surface details. Descriptions vary widely, from smooth, fluid-like surfaces to complex articulated structures. Observable details. Behaviors. Demonstrates a wide range of behaviors, from controlled maneuvering to erratic patterns of movement. Shape-shifting abilities have been reported. Biological effects. Observations include physical sensations of warmth or cold, unexplained smells, example, ozone, and psychological distress. Unique emissions. The floating brain jellyfish UAP occasionally exhibit patterned luminescence or fluctuating lights and colors, typically only visible in the higher end of the electromagnetic spectrum. Atmospheric phenomena. Sudden temperature drops and the appearance of clouds have been reported. Examples of Defense Who-Mint reports on UAP. Close encounter by CVN flight deck personnel. While on active duty in the Pacific, flight deck personnel working night duty experienced a close encounter with a spherical UAP of medium to large size. On-duty flight deck crew observed a small orange-red sphere maneuvering at high altitude above the CVN. Shortly after first observation, the UAP rapidly descended from high altitude to a position directly above the flight deck of the CVN, height approximately 100 to 200 yards. The UAP maintained altitude and matched speed with the underway CVN for an uncertain period. Observing personnel reported altered perceptions of time during the close encounter. The UAP maintained altitude and matched speed with the underway CVN for an uncertain period. Observing personnel reported altered perceptions of time during the close encounter. The UAP appeared to emit a soft orange-red light which, bizarrely, did not illuminate the ocean or the flight deck of the CVN despite the visual appearance of intense luminosity. The surface of the UAP was observed to be dynamic, roiling like the surface of the sun. The UAP took no reported actions during the encounter, only maintaining a close in proximity to the CVN. After an uncertain period, the UAP suddenly shot into the air, disappearing at a point high above the CVN. Observing personnel felt as if they snapped out of a trance and sense of profound unease. The incident report concludes with noting that the CVN had not responded in any way to what was perceived as a hostile interception by the UAP. Metallic orbs intercept F-22 on continental United States. Air surveillance and control mission. While performing a routine airspace surveillance and control mission in the Eastern Air Defense Sector, an F-22 fighter observed multiple UAP contacts at mission altitude. Moving to intercept, the F-22 pilot noted multiple metallic orbs, slightly smaller than a sedan, hovering in place. Upon vectoring towards the UAP, a smaller formation of the metallic orbs accelerated at rapid speed towards the F-22, which was unable to establish radar locks on the presumed hostile UAP. The F-22 broke trajectory and attempted to evade, but was intercepted and boxed in by approximately 3 to 6 UAP. One UAP maneuvered in proximity, greater than 12 meters, to the area directly starboard of the cockpit. There, the UAP established a rigid spatial relationship with the F-22, maintaining its exact position and orientation parallel with the F-22's cockpit despite multiple evasive rolls and maneuvers. Surrounded by the presumed hostile UAP, the F-22 was forced out of the mission area under the escort of the UAP formation. Perimeter of sensitive facility breached by UAP. At a military airfield located on the eastern seaboard, ground personnel reported a lengthy, low-altitude intrusion late at night by a small spherical UAP. The UAP displayed visual signature management, appearing as a blurry sphere around which light was distorted or bent. This effect emanated outward from the central sphere, giving the appearance of a heat haze or misty volume of distorted light. Ground personnel reported eye strain, headaches, and a feeling of unease or dread while observing this dark sphere. The UAP was first observed while slowly crossing the runway, moving in the direction of a sensitive area. Once across, the UAP hovered above a grouping of ground equipment before floating further towards a building within the sensitive area. The UAP then floated above the building before suddenly disappearing. Ground personnel were uncertain of the length of the encounter, but estimated their observation lasted between 10 to 15 minutes. Section 4. DoD Bureaucratic Records. Discrepancies found throughout the internal records of Aero and DoD interactions with Congress cast serious doubts on the integrity of the DoD statements to the elected leaders of the United States government. Extant transcripts held by DoD leadership show a pattern of trivialization, obfuscation, and outright denial of UAP data and what were intended to be highly classified, private, and transparent conversations with appropriate congressional members. This same behavior also prevents critical members of Congress from receiving an accurate assessment of the national security risks posed by UAP. Specific examples known to the author include denying the existence of multiple compartmented access programs, CAPs, owned by a military intelligence agency which directly related to the UAP mission, denying the existence of joint DoD interdepartment SAPs directly related to the UAP mission and the study of technologies of unknown origin, and finally, the denial of the existence of Immaculate Constellation by DoD representatives to appropriate congressional members and their staff. Separately, additional internal records confirm the claims of Mr. Lou Elizondo regarding ATIP OSAP's mission, activities, and findings. Additional documents support the exceptional character and credibility of Mr. Elizondo. These non-public documents include letters of commendation, service award nominations, performance promotion reviews, archived email chains, and ATIP OSAP program briefings, which directly corroborate the public statements of Mr. Elizondo. These records also provide additional insight into the activities of ATIP OSAP, the evolution of the program's findings, and its interactions with senior DoD leadership. Finally, these records provide insight into highly classified and suppressed areas of scientific research and technology development, derived from the study and exploitation of UAP and NHI technologies. Section 5. Restricted USG Historical Records. G/00/162-78. This serial number corresponds to an official NSA report published in 1978. The existence and content of this report was verified by accessing the appropriate intelligence archives. The substance of the report concerns scientific research in the Soviet Union on the topics of parapsychology, psi, and biological effects of UAP on human beings. Additionally, the existence of this reporting stream demonstrates that U.S. intelligence was explicitly tasked to collect on foreign entities active in areas often relegated to the fringes of scientific research, including parapsychology and the biological effects of encounters with UAP. The fact that significant intelligence resources were dedicated to understanding and exploiting information related to UAP and NHI highlights a strategic commitment to understanding the full scope of UAP, NHI, and TUO. These and other classified accounts provide a rare public glimpse, reveal the contours of a secretive, decades-long competition between major terrestrial powers to collect, exploit, and field novel technologies derived from the study of UAP and NHI. Section 6. Signals Intelligence. A substantial body of sensitive signals intelligence collected from peer and near-peer countries demonstrate foreign awareness of UAP events occurring over their sensitive military and intelligence facilities, including nuclear weapons facilities. Due to the exceptionally sensitive nature of the sources and methods involved, only general conclusions are provided here. Foreign countries are known to have observed UAP whose signatures and behaviors correlate to those observed by the United States. These UAP events are treated by the security apparatuses of each state as serious national security threats due to UAP in proximity to sensitive military and intelligence facilities. These facilities are most often associated with aerospace defense, strategic deterrence, and military-sponsored scientific research and development. On multiple occasions, each of these nations have attempted to intercept and shoot down UAP violating their territorial airspace and the airspace over sensitive facilities. Foreign countries have internal organizations dedicated to studying the ambiguous threat posed by UAP, deducing scientific principles through observing UAP and the careful management of public perceptions of the UAP issue. Section 7. Sensitive Sources, from Mouth to Ear. Conclusion. The official disclosure of the existence of NHI and their presence on Earth is a pivotal moment in human history. The nature of this information is of such incomparable relevance to the public good that it demands to be shared. Some may object and say that disclosure at this time poses too many risks. To them it must be said that we will never be able to predict how individuals, families, communities, and nations will react to revelations of such magnitude. Moving forward, we must guard against the lure of authoritarian solutions justified by expediency and appeals to national security. The good in humanity will always triumph through time, and it is in moments of crisis that our capacities for achieving the extraordinary are discovered. Be not afraid. Science tested by fire, truth through faith. That concludes the reading of the submitted document. Again, it must be stressed that this is not an official document, and to date, nothing about the contents of the form has been verified or corroborated. That's all for this episode of UAP as NHI. Please join me after the holiday season for Episode 7, Special. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in 2025.